Oi, gente, tudo bom com vocês? Eu sou a Alice e esse é o Ali&Aqui e hoje a gente tá aqui pra um vídeo muito especial. Eu tô muito animada pra vocês assistirem esse vídeo. Vocês obviamente já estão sabendo, né, pelo título e porque provavelmente eu já sortei muito nas redes sociais falando desse vídeo pra vocês, mas hoje é o dia que vocês vão ver a minha entrevista com o Luke e o Ashton do 5 Seconds of Summer. Eu tava muito animada pra contar pra vocês essa entrevista e pra mostrar pra vocês a entrevista. Eu fui convidada pra conversar com eles pra falar um pouquinho sobre o 5 Souls 5, né, que é o 5º álbum da banda. E eu tô muito animada. O 5 Seconds of Summer é uma banda que tá na minha vida há muitos e muitos e muitos anos. Inclusive, eu já assisti eles ao vivo 2 vezes, assisti eles uma vez em 2015, que foi muito especial, porque eu tava viajando, fui na Califórnia, foi toda a vibe da viagem, foi tudo. Então, eles são uma banda muito, 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 muito especial, e quando me convidaram pra entrevistar eles, eu fiquei muito feliz e muito, muito animada. E ainda mais, enfim, o Luke e o Ashton juntos foi absolutamente perfeito. A gente falou um pouquinho sobre o novo CD, sobre essa nova dinâmica deles. Eu também conversei um pouquinho com eles sobre os projetos solos, das diferenças, né, de ter esses projetos individuais, mas continuar sendo uma banda, dos 10 anos da Five Sauce, tipo, de como a vida deles mudou nesse tempo todo e de como ainda existe essa constância na amizade deles e na relação deles, em trabalhar com pessoas que são tão próximas, né, e tão amigos, assim. Então foi uma conversa muito gostosa, foi muito, muito especial e eu espero que vocês gostem o tanto quanto eu e óbvio que vocês ouçam o CD novo do 5 Sauce, porque tá muito incrível. Eu não quero falar muita coisa, porque eu não quero dar spoiler. Mas o álbum está sensacional, incrível, maravilhoso, perfeito. Eu chorei horrores ouvindo. Então tenho certeza que vocês vão amar também. Então é isso, fiquem agora com a minha entrevista com os meninos. E me contem aqui nos comentários o que vocês acharam, qual foi a parte favorita de vocês. E quem sabe, né, quando eles vierem pro Brasil, porque eu tenho certeza que eles vão vir. Eu espero que eles venham, porque eu tô aguentando mais. Quando eles vierem pro Brasil, eu posso entrevistar eles ao vivo também, né, quem sabe. Torcer, né? Sonhar nunca é demais. Então é isso, espero que vocês gostem da entrevista e a gente se vê no próximo vídeo.
Okay, so first of all, I'm so happy to meet you. I'm very excited. I actually listened to the album today and it's so good. So good. So congratulations. I might have cried a little in some of the songs. So just so you know, it's very emotional. And actually the first thing that I wanted to talk to you about was the whole 10-year thing, because you've been together for quite some time and you have a lot of fans that are with you for 10 years. So how do you feel like knowing that there are people who follow you and listen to your music for such a long time?
It feels amazing. I mean, we started the band when we were very young, so the people that were following us are probably about our age. We've sort of grown up with people. It's a beautiful thing to see when you speak to people, if you're in their city to play a show, they tell you how much the band means to them, and that they've been following you since we were just kids. So it's pretty baffling, to be honest. But like I said, it's a beautiful thing. We're very lucky to have fans that have followed us that long.
Do you feel there's some kind of difference between making music when you were like 18, 19 to making music now that you are close to 30? And what do you feel are the biggest changes?
The biggest changes are really the attention span of the audience, which really influenced the compositional kind of songwriting stuff. It got shorter and more immediate. That's the thing, like it put us really in touch with our childlike relationship with music, because we identified that was something that was really elevating our creative force and our songwriting and our relationship. So it's actually something we nurtured all the way through this past 10 years, because you are able to visibly see your innocent relationship with music, and you develop and love and discipline the parts of it that you use daily in the band. The things that have changed the most are, I guess, how many people come to see us. Like, it's seemingly evolving everywhere, and it seems like people are coming for our first album, the second album, third and fourth and fifth. It's all over the place, and we're kind of starting to create a more multi-generational fan base, which is something that's changing and can only happen through a long time of releasing music that people connect with.
Yeah, totally. And I actually saw you guys live back in 2015, I guess, and then back at Rock in Rio. and now you're going on tour again. So after like quite some time not playing. So are you excited? What do you expect from this new tour and these new shows?
We don't really expect much ever. So we try to just put our heads down and do what we do best. It's kind of like there's a lot of noise that surrounds the band, and we just kind of focus on doing the best we can at the things we do, you know? The tour that we recently did, we just did 60 shows for the first time since the pandemic's beginning, and it was really, really interesting. It was different everywhere, vastly more than it had been before, because of what I picked up, I think sociologically, I think it was the influence of the local governments in these places, you know, and you see that in the audiences, you know, you see whether they've felt cooped up or whether they're, you know, drained of their kind of energy because it's been a tiring world, you know.
Like, do you feel people are more like energetic after like the pandemic, you know, or do you feel like it's the same? Yeah.
I don't think they're more energetic, no. I think they're listening to the band more because of music, you know. I think as our fan base got a little older, they stopped like kind of overpowering the band in many ways and started listening to us. And that was cool.
And I mean, this new album, it does feel completely new. I mean, different from other things that you did, but at the same time, I feel like it goes deep on the roots of the band, like in your first songs and first albums. So how it was like the process of putting this like new moment, a new era, but at the same time, like kind of sounding and feeling like something old.
I'm glad it's come across that way. I think it sort of just felt natural, you know. It was just the four of us at the beginning of the process, and it was super exciting to naturally, like, we got the feeling of the first sort of era of the band across, but it doesn't sound like it at all, which is a massive goal for a band that's, you know, 5 albums in, to still be able to cultivate that feeling amongst ourselves when we're making music. You know, it feels amazing, and I'm glad it's come across that way.
Yeah, it did. And both of you did some solo projects. I mean, do you feel there's any difference between doing those solo projects and doing the things with the band? How do you approach them? There is a difference, or maybe there's not any difference?
Yeah, I mean, the band have a process, you know, and then individually you have a creative process too, and that process kind of reflects your most coherent, realized way of forming a song and forming your personal art. So they're really entirely different. They require different disciplines. I find the band's one requires a lot more patience. It's just such a different process, you know, because you're hoping to link up with other creatives or other people in a band to refine what you do, you know. So really the four of us are refining our music together, and that refinement the process that we have is what creates Five Sauce, you know.
Yeah.
So personally, you're missing that extra refinement. You're just on your own and you're intuitively making decisions that just reflect your kind of wants and values from your music, you know.
I think that one of the things that the fans like the most is your relationship with like the four of you. And we saw a lot of like you sticking together, even like with the solo projects, like everyone got everyone's back. So how it was for you to like do these solo projects and have this like this backup and this friendship, but also like growing into the band with it and with this new like this new experience that you had?
Yeah, I think it's super unique to us that we can, you know, there's so much songwriting ability in this band. I think we all have different things that we want to do, especially as we, you know, to be in a band this long and to be friends this long, you need to be able to give each other space, and different people are going to want different things. You know, thus far the projects outside have been pretty confined, you know, and the band was very much the focus. So I think that made it easier, but it also, if you want to be in this band and do, you know, the great things that we do, I think you need to be able to give each other space so you can come back and want to do it. You know, if you're locked into something out of fear, then I think it doesn't sound very fun, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And you also like you got Michael to produce some of the songs for this new album. So there was like kind of a shift between like the dynamics between the four of you. So how it was to work with him in this new way, but also like having him with you together doing the music.
It was cool. It was I think because we internalized the process so much that we just really had to develop trust and reliability on each other. You know, we're really looking to lean into each other to rise to the occasion and the perceived kind of quality bar of what our music should be. It was really different just because Mike's never produced any bands or anything before, you know, so it's really a learning process for all of us from the ground up. And because of the way the world was and everything, it just seemed like such a aligned higher path for the band to internalize stuff and just start chipping away at our own ability, you know, and hopefully with goals of going and making albums in other countries and that kind of thing, you know. We want to uproot the process and be free with it.
And listen, I know you have like fans all over the world, but I have to say that Brazil really loves you, like very much. Do you have a favorite memory of the time when you were here, like when you played here, or like something that you remember that like you cherish?
Playing Rock in Rio was incredible. That was honestly one of the band's great highlights. So I would say that. Yeah, I mean, the fans are amazing there. They're so passionate and they love the music, and you can't really ask much more out of an audience, really.
Yeah, they are very intense over here. And okay, so last question. You have like a lot of songs at this point. So do you have like a song that you always get like surprised when fans ask you like to play on shows, or like they say that they still love this song even after like a long time that they've been out? So like any song comes to mind?
Yeah, we have a song called Unpredictable.
Yeah.
Which is literally one of the first songs we ever wrote ever. Luke wrote it. It's like when you look at a drawing you did when you were 9 years old. But you spent your whole life becoming a seasoned artist.
Portraits and doing beautiful paintings.
Portraits, and you really expanded your horizons artistically. And then people say, I really like the 9-year-old drawing. And we can understand why, but do we want to continue that style? Not necessarily.
That's actually a very good comparison, because people would like the innocence in it. Yeah, but it's just not as good. Objectively.
Yeah. I feel lame.
Yeah. But I feel like when we do something, like when it's ours, we tend to like be really like critic about that thing. So I know what you mean, but it's cool that people like still connect with old songs, even if they were like written by a 9-year-old. I don't know what that says about Luke. I mean, I don't know what that says about Luke, but
100%.
I mean, you said it.
I agree. If anything, you just take it as it's really cool that people have been following the band for that long. You know, there's just some songs like that I don't quite understand. I understand, you know, most of the ones in the first album, you know, it makes sense. But there's some that you're like, oh, okay, that's a crazy choice.
Yeah, and we're really not really interested in going back there. So also doesn't really reflect the things we want to do, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much. It was very nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alice.
Bye-bye.